Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 29 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on my writing. So, yay for day 29. Kind of like having to stop and think, what day am I on again? I can't believe it was 29. But this is also kind of like day 2 of my doing my writing before going to work, which I kind of like doing that. And today I had kind of a realization, kind of a sad point, happy point, but I don't know. It was one of those moments. Anyway, I was working on my writing tonight, and I didn't want to stop. I had a really hard time stopping, and it's one of those days where I was wishing that I was actually already making money with my writing so that I could stay home and write and not have to go to work because I don't like having to go to work. And not that I don't like my job. I do like my job most of the time. But I would prefer to stay home and write. And I guess I forgot, or maybe I just realized tonight how much I actually enjoy writing. How as I type up a story, it's like it comes to life. It's like the stuff that I've imagined in my head, pictured in my mind, talked about to other people is suddenly like forming into words, into my story, into my book. And it's like it's coming to life. It's turning into something. And it's fun and it's exciting to see where my story is going. And I mean, I know where the story is going, but it's kind of fun to build the conversations, to write the characters, to be like, okay, what is this character actually thinking? Why are they thinking this? Okay, this conversation doesn't work. This one doesn't make sense. I was rewriting Lenoy and the Teachers of Powers when I was doing this, and I was like, okay. And I was redoing chapter 17 because I wanted to introduce something different into the book and having to realize that she needs to have a different motivation, different reasons, discovering different things. And so I had to rewrite basically the entire conversation context of that entire chapter. And I got about halfway through the chapter, maybe 2/3. I don't know. I didn't look to see how much further was left because I had to go. I had an appointment I had to be at, and I was like, oh, I don't want to stop. I'm gonna be late for my appointment, but I don't want to stop. and then I got there, and the appointment ended up having to be changed to another night, and I was like, dang it, I didn't even have to come in here. So I was a little bit disappointed. But I was okay. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm grateful I can just kind of let things like that roll off, that it doesn't matter. If it didn't work out, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. It will be okay. So, but I was really into my story, and I really want to get back into my story and not back to work. But I know I have to go back to work because I have to pay the bills. So, disappointment there. And not that work is bad. It's not bad. Work is fine. Work is good. It's just I really loved seeing my story come to life tonight and just being in it. Like it's just I don't know. I don't know how to describe the feeling. I don't know how to describe that momentum. But if you're a writer, you know what that's like to just sit down and see it like come to life as you're writing it, the words, and have it just flow, and it's just like, oh, and it's so good. It's so good. And then the only problem is it's so good that other people are going to want to read it. Are they going to be as excited and intense and into my story as I am when I'm writing it? And I hope they are. I really do. That's the whole point of writing it. But it was just exciting, and it's so nice to find a passion for me, to find something that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy, that I love doing. And I really hope I can make money doing it because I am always bouncing from job to job because I can't find something that I enjoy doing. I like learning new things, different things. I try it for a while. I'm like, okay, this is fun. I'm bored now. Let's do something else. But writing is something I don't get bored of. It's something I can always write something different with. It's something I can always discover some new way to phrase things, some new story, some new thing that I can learn about myself from my characters when I'm writing about them. It's something that I keep coming back to. It's something I've done off and on my entire life. And it's something I keep coming back to doing. So I'm like, this is what I need to do with my life. This is what I need to get paid to do with my life so that I can actually keep a job, so that I can actually stay home and write. Because I could literally, I spent probably 4 hours writing today, and I could spend more than that. I really could. I could go for 8 to 10 hours and write. It could be like a full-time job writing. And I don't get bored doing that for the whole day. In fact, I'm like, I kind of have to remind myself I have to stop to eat and go to the bathroom and get something to drink while I'm working on it, because I get so into it. And then I take a break and I'm like, okay, I gotta go back. I gotta go back, because all the ideas are just flowing. And I love that it does that. I love that I can do that I can get that into my work, that I can be that excited about it. It's an amazing feeling. And I'm grateful that I can do that with my writing. I'm grateful to be excited about my writing, excited about the prospect of publishing my books. It's very exciting. And before I started working on Lanoia, I didn't finish chapter 17, which is kind of frustrating to me, but it will be there tomorrow. It's okay. I know where I'm going with my story, so it's okay. I will finish chapter 17 tomorrow. It's just going to take that much longer to finish revising the rest of my book, and I'm torn between the concept of sending it out to beta readers a second time, or just finding someone that can edit it, and hopefully the edit job is good enough that I can just publish it, because I don't want to keep rewriting that book. I do want to be done with it, but I am excited to be writing it. I am excited to get feedback from other people, like, do you like it? Do you like it? Do you like it? Because I had so much fun writing it. Which, I mean, I could get from beta readers too. It's just I want to put it out there to see if people will actually buy it. So I'm kind of torn between, do I do another round of beta readers, or do I just trust that I've made enough changes that it's good enough the way it's at and people will buy it and read it? Mostly I'm concerned about the beginning, because a lot of people had a hard time picturing her environment. So I think if I made enough changes in the beginning, people get drawn into it, that the rest of the book will be fine and will explain everything and it'll be okay. So still debating the whole beta reader thing, because there's that part of me that just wants to publish it, and there's that other part of me that's like, no, I want to make sure it's good enough people will actually buy it and want to read it, and not just be like, okay, some other crazy person just threw some random thing together and hoped people would read it. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's better to have more positive reviews than bad reviews, because the negative reviews always hold more weight than the positive ones. So I don't want a lot of negative reviews for my book. I know there will always be negative reviews. I can deal with negative reviews. I can't control negative reviews. I just hope that there's way more positive ones than negative ones, and I just have to find people that are willing to beta read my book again, just to make sure that I'm on the right track with this revised version. And if the revised version is good enough and only needs some minor changes to it, then I can send it to find an editor, and then I can publish it. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I did work on recognizing God's hand in my life tonight. I do need to make some more changes to that. A little bit frustrating that I'll finish something or think I'm finished with it. I did write something at the end of the chapter I was working on, and I decided that I'm probably going to have to go back and fix that, because I think I was kind of redundant, repeated myself, or wasn't quite getting the message across that I wanted to. And then, of course, when I was out tonight, I had other ideas as to what I could have used in place of that, or instead of. So I was like, oh, okay. But I did make some notes, because I'm like, I do need to make some changes or add some things to that. But I did go back. I separated the chapters about my dad, which was fine, before the divorce, after the divorce. And I decided to stick the stuff about my sister in between. I think it flows better that way, just because of how things happened in my life. So I did that. But as I finished that chapter after the divorce, so I did finish those 3 chapters, oddly enough, and it's the end of that last one that I want to make some changes to. Or maybe the end of the other one I want to make some changes to. I can't remember. Maybe both. I think a little bit of both. I have to look at it again. I'm trying to remember all of the things and put them in there. The things that happened, plus the things that helped me realize that I was okay in spite of what happened. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyway, I realized after doing all of that, and I was out tonight, attempted to work for a little bit. I'm going to have to go back to work, just taking a break to do my video. Anyway, I realized as I was doing that, or as I finished that, and I was going out and about tonight, that writing this story about my life is very empowering to me. It's very healing, and it's very empowering. It's very different than journaling. It's very different than counseling or 12 steps. Because even though I've shared bits and pieces of the story with different people throughout my life, and I've written in my journals aren't going out to the world. They're not going out for anybody to see them. They get to hide in my little cedar chest, and nobody knows what's in them. Nobody's ever going to read them. And I just always tell myself my handwriting's so bad nobody can read them anyway. And I have no intention of ever going back and rereading them. I like looking at them occasionally. Every time I move or whatever, I'll get them out, or every time I put a new journal in there, I'll look through some of the old ones and be like, cool, this is cool. I remember this journal. This one looks fun. But I don't go back and read them. I'm not nostalgic that way. I don't even know if I would ever go back and actually try to type them all up and write my history that way. It's just not, I just write it because it's my release, because I feel like I get revelations and understand things from God by writing in my journals. It just helps me to put things into their proper perspective, to feel better, to stop my mind from spinning in circles so that I can sleep at night. That's what I write in my journal. I don't need to go back and read all that stuff that was spinning in my head. I'm like, I wrote it down. It's gone. I don't have to. It's gone. I'm done. That's it. I'm okay with that. So it's interesting to have it be. It's interesting to write the book, because writing the book is organizing all of that stuff, because my thoughts can be a jumbled mess in my journal. They can't in a book, so they have to be organized. I can tell bits and pieces of my story to different people. They don't have to all connect. And this has to all connect. It all has to be in there in some fashion that makes sense. So it requires a different kind of thought process to do it. Also, there's that added bit of confidence and courage that I have to have, because I know that the purpose of writing this book is to share it with the world. And not that everyone in the world is going to read my book or watch my videos or any of those things, but I know that my purpose is to share it, is to put it out there so that God can guide people to it, that it will benefit other people, and the people that need it the most are the ones that are going to come across it. At least I hope that's what's going to happen with my books. But it means that I have no control over who's going to read what I'm writing. And at first, that's just been very scary. And I have been avoiding that very much so, because I don't like all of those emotions and the things that happen to me. And tonight, I kind of did a 180 on that. And I realized that it's very empowering, because I now have the courage to share my story, something I did not have when I was a kid. I didn't have the courage to stand up and say something. I fought back. I won't get me wrong, I fought back, but I didn't have the courage. And I mean, I lost a lot of times when I fought back. It didn't mean I didn't fight back, but I lost. But I never had the courage to share with anyone, to tell anyone what was happening. And now I have that somehow. I don't know where it's coming from. Probably from God, because it's not from me. And I can share that with other people and let them know that they're not alone, that there's a way up, there's a way out, there is hope, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful I can look back and see the hope, that I can see that I had choices and options that I didn't recognize when I was a child. And maybe it was just, if nothing else, to know that I wasn't the only one that was going through what I was going through. Maybe I didn't have the courage to share with anyone else, but I wasn't alone. And I'm grateful that I had siblings, especially ones that were that close in age to me, because we could kind of, maybe not talk to the adults, but we could talk to each other. We could comfort each other. But as an adult, going back through my history, writing it, knowing that I'm going to share it with the world, it's somehow empowering. It's freeing. It's like, okay, this is all the stuff that maybe should have happened when I was a kid and it didn't. But now I'm putting it out there, and I'm not ashamed of myself. I am not taking on the shame or the guilt or the whatever of what other people did to me anymore. It wasn't my fault. And that's so freeing, and it's healing. And the fear of the repercussions, whatever is going to happen when it goes out, is dissipating. It's being replaced with that feeling of power, empowerment, like, okay, I did this. I am shaking off the chains that have bound me all these years, all of that fear. I am not afraid of what's going to happen anymore. It doesn't matter because I am, I don't know, I'm taking back my own power, I guess. I'm not allowing the people that abused me or hurt me in my life have control over what I do anymore. And that is very freeing, very empowering to write this, to share this, to be like, okay, this happened to me, this made me who I am, but now I can see who I am and I can see how strong I have become. I can see that I have courage, that I can do this stuff, that I fought back, that I did things that I that I forgot, things that I buried in my memories because I focused on the bad things, because I believed other people when they said I couldn't do things. And now I'm looking at this and going, I can do things. I can do all of these things. I can do this. There is nothing standing in my way. I can do this. This is awesome. This is amazing. And I feel very blessed. I feel very fortunate to be able to do this. And I'm not saying that all the fear is completely gone, that it's not going to be a little bit scary when I actually put it out there, but I'm feeling more empowered. I'm feeling less anxious and more empowered. I don't know that I'm describing that correctly. Doesn't feel like it's coming out right somehow, but it's kind of odd to me that would be my reaction, my response. I don't know what response I was expecting. I think I've just been expecting myself to be afraid, and that as I write this, all this fear is coming back, and instead I'm feeling all of the outrage to what was done to me and the realization that I misinterpreted things. I believed it was my fault that the bad things were happening to me, that there was something wrong with me, there was something bad about me. That's why my dad did bad things to me, because I was wrong, because there was something wrong with being a girl, something wrong with being a woman. And looking at this and going through that, it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with being a woman. There's nothing wrong with being who I am. There's nothing bad about me. And I think I have spent my entire life feeling like I didn't fit in, feeling like there was something internally wrong with me, not externally, but internally, like about me as a person, as an individual, that people just didn't love, people just didn't like, they couldn't love, they couldn't like. And part of it was because maybe it's because I was a girl, maybe it's because I was shy, maybe it's because I talked too much. I didn't know what it was, and I kept trying to figure out how to change it, how to make it better, how to not be abused and taken advantage of, because and I figured kept getting abused and taken advantage of because there was something wrong with me. And to finally see that it wasn't something wrong with me, that feeling of wrongness, that feeling of something bad, was the situation I was in. It's what was being done to me, not because of me, and not because there was something wrong or bad about me. And so I've spent my whole life being afraid of who I was, or thinking that I'm this horrible person inside, and that if people actually knew who I was, they wouldn't like me, they wouldn't want to be my friend, they wouldn't any of those things, or all these people that would say nice things about me. And I'm like, wow, I totally have those people fooled, because they have no clue how bad I am. And I don't even know why I thought that I was so bad, other than it felt so bad what was being done. And to realize, doing this book, and to realize on a deeper level, not that I haven't had this realization before, but kind of on a deeper level, that I'm not bad. I'm not inherently bad. I'm not inherently wrong. I'm not this horrible person inside of me that if people just knew, they would hate. There isn't anything that wretched about me that I've ever done, or that's just me as a person, as an individual, as my personalities, of who I am, that's so horrible that I deserved that kind of treatment. None of that is true. I never deserved any of those things to happen to me. And if something like that ever happened to you, or anyone that's watching these videos, I hope you know that it's not something you did or something you deserve because of who you are, or because of what gender you are, or whatever excuse the perpetrator is using to abuse you, because it's not true. But if they can make us feel like we're horrible people, if they can make us feel that we did something bad, like it's all our fault, My dad never told me not to say anything, to not share anything. He just made me feel so bad about myself that I felt like I deserved whatever was happening to me. And I am so grateful to see now that I did not deserve to be treated that way. And I don't have to keep protecting him because of what he did to me. That's not okay. It's not. And I don't have to have a relationship with him. And I don't have to justify that with anyone. And it's such a relief because those are things that I have known and those are things that I have fought for a long time, and I have dealt with all the repercussions, all the people that disagreed with me, that have argued with me, that have told me differently. And I'm writing this book and I realized, I'm like, you know what? I've just done what I knew was right anyway. I've walked away from this situation a long time ago. And now I'm reading this book and realizing, I'm like, hello, I've already done all this. What am I afraid of? Look at all this crap I've been through. Nothing else that I go through can be like that. Nothing else is gonna, I mean, if I could survive all of that, there's nothing else that can stand in my way. There's nothing that someone can say or write in some comment or review about my book or whatever that's can hurt me worse than what's happened to me in my life already. And I know that God is going to be there to help me and support me, and that I have a lot more friends and family and people that love and support me, and a lot more adopted family than biological family that are supportive of me and my choices. And that's amazing to me. It's a gift to me to see all of these things that I have and the support that I have, and to realize maybe I could have had it if I'd been willing to speak up as a child, but I was afraid to. And I've still been afraid. As an adult, I've been so afraid. And it's like, I don't know what power this is that my biological dad has had over me, but writing this book is removing that power. It's removing that fear. And it's me just saying, okay, I'm done. I'm like, I know he hasn't been a part of my life in years, but I'm letting go of that fear. I'm letting go of what he did because I don't need to carry that around anymore. I don't need it to stand in my way of my succeeding and of my having a life. I don't have to believe his lies anymore. I'm done. And and that's what's empowering to me, to have that confidence, to see that courage in myself, to know that I'm going to put this out to the world, that he may read it. My biological dad might read it. Who cares? My family members, his family members might read it. It might change their perspective of him, or they might believe him when he tells them that I'm lying. I don't know which. And I don't know if he's going to tell them that he's lying or that I'm lying. I don't know if he's going to pretend it never happened or he has no idea what I'm talking about. I have no idea. But his standard remark in the past, was like growing up, when anybody confronted him about something, was either, oh, I'm sorry, and the behavior never changed, or he would just get angry and say that whoever said that was lying. And usually it was, at my biological mom that she was lying. So, and I know sometimes in my videos I say mom, dad, biological, and whatever, but it's because I have a couple that's adopted me as an adult. They're not like legally adopted, but I kind of consider them my parents. I call them mom and dad. And they're not abusive and mean and horrible people. They've actually been very loving and supportive and kind to me, and they're encouraging me to fulfill my dreams and do things. So I just kind of try to make that separation a little bit, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I do a very good job of that. I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job on my books, because I'm like, I don't want to use their real names, because the whole world doesn't need to know exactly who they are. That's not the point of the book. It's not to place blame and do horrible things so people go after the people that hurt me. The point is to show how God has blessed me in my life, that in spite of the bad things that happened to me, that he was there, that there was some way that he was there that protected me or let me know that I was still loved in spite of the environment that I was living in, and that God has been there my whole life helping me and supporting me, and that I can get through all of this. And in writing this book, I am seeing all of the things that I have come through, and the strength and the courage that I have gained, the strength and the courage it took to do the things that I did in those books, to survive those things, to stand up to people as a child and be like, this is not okay behavior, to respond differently than my friends did that thought I was crazy. I'm like, what are you doing that for? You can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I don't have to live in an abusive situation. I don't have to sit here and take it. I can say no. I don't care if I'm 12. I'm still going to say no. My friend's like, I'd get in so much trouble for that. I was like, yeah, fear is definitely instilled in children to obey their parents. And I'm like, we should obey our parents if they're good parents, if they're telling us to do things that are good for us, to help us, if they're trying to teach us things, but not if they're hurting us, not if they're beating us up, not if they're abusing their power. No one should get to abuse their power. Just because they're parents or church leaders or government leaders or officials or police officers, whatever, nobody should be allowed to abuse that power. With that power comes responsibility, and it's to serve, it's to protect, it's to teach, it's to help, it's to guide people around you, it's to fulfill a purpose. It's not to abuse people. It's not to take advantage. It's not to gain more power or more money. That's not what it's for. And I'm so grateful that I can see the differences in writing this book, that I can feel more confident and comfortable about sharing my story, and hoping that as I share what I learned from all of these experiences, that it will help other people that are going through things. And if nothing else, help them know that they're not alone, that it's not, that there is hope, that there is a way through this, there is a way up, there is a way out, and there is an end. And I know what I went through is not as bad or as horrible as what some other people went through, but it's not as nice and simple as what other people went through. Everyone has their trials and their struggles, and I'm just sharing mine. And whoever that can help, great. And if it helps like 10 people, great. If it helps 50 people or 500 people, great. I don't expect the entire world to want to read my books. I don't think they're going to care. I don't think it's that significant to that many people, but that's not the point. I think that whoever needs to read what I wrote, whoever needs to watch the videos that I'm doing, that they will find them, because God will guide them to them, because he wants them to know that they're loved and that they're not alone. And I can see all the times in my life that I was not alone or left alone like I thought I was, and I was given gifts and blessings and reasons to continue, reasons to move forward. And I'm grateful for all of that. And like I said, because of that, it's kind of given me a feeling of being empowered by God, empowered by myself to let go of all of those fears and all of those past things that have been holding me down, binding me, keeping me from living my life. So it's a very freeing, empowering experience writing these books. And it's very exciting to work on my fantasy ones, to see where the characters are going, to just see them develop and be creative. And it's just, I'm so grateful for this gift that I have to write and to write my stories. I'm so excited about writing them, and I'm getting more and more excited about publishing them, and a little bit more and more frustrated that the process is taking so long, and wishing I didn't have to go to work to pay the bills because I want to just stay home and write, which I can't afford to do. So I will have to wait until I can afford to do that. But in the meantime, I'm grateful that I can still do these videos, that I can find things to be grateful for, that I can continue to write, and that I am maintaining my goals, and that I did do my writing before work again today. But like I said, it's kind of hard to stop writing because I have to go to work, or because I have to go somewhere else or do something else, because it's really easy for me to get caught up into my writing and to just want to do that all day, every day. I just can't afford to. So one of these days, I hope I can. And that is a goal that I'm working towards. And maybe if I continue to do these videos and keep working at it, you will see that goal actually become fulfilled. And that would be amazing too. But I think that's all I have for today. So I hope you have a great night full of gratitude.